If you're a subscriber to my channel, you may know that about a year ago I modified my panel by putting this larger one in and then inserted the original one in it. Well, I have a couple different projects I want to use for these two spots. This is a breaker for the awning lights, and this is just an on-off switch for the wireless remote. What I'm going to do is along the bottom here, I'm going to relocate these breakers and switches down here to the bottom so that I can recover these two spots. In retrospect, I should have had them put spots in the bottom for that, but I didn't. And in order to make the holes that I need to in this front panel, I made a couple little blank filler panels, and I use those as a template here and drill and tap some 3mm holes. And now we drilled and tapped 8 holes in here with a panel on this one, and this one I have another panel coming that has holes in it for switches, so I'll put that down there. When we get the panel, I'll drill through the panel. And the reason I'm using these external panels is if I mess up on the drilling, that's going to cover it up. Plus I can make square holes and things in these panels where I couldn't if I went straight in. I had a panel custom made, and putting that in there, I use that as a template to drill these holes. I then enlarged the holes with a step drill like this, so I wouldn't go in too far and gouge any wiring with a drill bit. Then I used a deburring tool and ran it around like that, which will take the burrs off the backside. And now I've transferred the breaker that used to be in this panel up here. Put a blank panel in there, and now the breaker's down here. And I have a switch up here that I need to move down to here. And then I'll be able to recover that panel too. I made 2 different types of LED dimmers for this project. The one on the left is a linear dimmer, and the one on the right is a pulse width modulated dimmer. And I'll do a separate article on these dimmers because they have a lot of utility. You could probably use them for other things as well. This one is limited to about 300 milliamps of current. This one can go as high as probably 4 amps, depending on which output transistor you use. And I've designed it so that it can use a couple different ones. And at this step, I put an LED in here to monitor this switch, and an LED in here to monitor the dimmer that I just showed you. And also, I have this little LED here that's going to go into this spot. And its purpose is it's going to shine up. So at nighttime, it's hard to see the control panel. This will provide some illumination to the control panel, and since it's on a dimmer, then we can adjust the intensity. And like all my projects, you can go into my website and get the details for this little strip that I added. The panel light, you can turn it on, and it's on a dimmer. Right now it's fully dimmed. And as I bring the brightness up, you can see in the daytime even that it will shine light on the console. And I put a pilot LED here, and you'll notice that that pilot LED does not change brightness with a dimmer. And that is so if you have the dimmer way down for nighttime, when you come back home from camping, especially if you don't put 120 volts AC on your rig, the battery is going to run down with parasitic loads, and this would be defined as a parasitic load. So this light lets you know that this is on, even if it's not as easy to see. And then we just have the on-off switch for the remote control. And we'll explain this remote control in a different set of videos.